Hello and welcome to Casual Veteran Gamer. In the video today, I'm going to be looking at weapon skills available to characters wielding a weapon, which is just about everybody. Before we start, I just want to say thank you again for all the comments I've been receiving. It's really interesting and really cool to be able to speak with you guys and learn from you, and hopefully you learn from me. And today I'm going to be going through a battle here. I'm not going to go through all of it, but part of a battle, showing off all the different weapon skills. And Lazel is going to be doing most of the work, but our druid over here is also going to be playing a small part. There are 6 basic weapon skills, which are generally linked to the type of damage each weapon deals. In no particular order, just in the order they appear on the screen. Slashing weapon, or weapons that deal slashing damage, will do Cleave. All ranged weapons have Pin Down. Weapons which do bludgeoning damage have Smash. Weapons which do piercing damage have Slash. Then all sort of quarterstaffs have Topple. And lastly, all spears have Rush. There are some magic items which have a particular weapon skill. It's a bit different. I'm not going to cover those in the video. I'm just going to cover the basic 6. Cleave takes an action, as with all of the weapon skills. Swing a weapon in a large arc to attack multiple enemies at once. So we pick the option. From where you're standing, you can turn around and you can see a highlighted area just around Lazel here. And if it's going to hit an enemy, they have circles beneath their feet. So if I face it this way, you can see it's not going to hit any enemies, but the barricades on the right hand side of the screen are actually highlighted in yellow, so we'll get hit also. If I turn around, you can see this warg called Claw and a goblin called Sentinel Olak are going to be hit. So let's see the first of these weapon skills. Now, it just so happened that it missed both of them, which I think is fairly unlucky, considering Laser has a plus. Ooh, what's she going to have a plus to hit? It's going to be +4 plus 6 to hit. Let's actually have a look at these here. So we've got to scroll through here, right. Oh, Claw was hit for 14 slashing damage, Barricade hit for 26. It didn't hit Sentinel Olak though, I don't think. So yeah, did some decent damage. Now, part of the damage is going to come from what weapon is used. So Lazel was using a longsword, I believe, with 2 hands. It's 1d10 plus 4. So if you're using a weapon that only requires 1 hand, you might do a bit less. But I really like this weapon skill. This is one of the few ways a character with melee can actually hit more than one enemy at once. And you have to be a bit lucky, or set yourself up nicely to hit more than 2 creatures. But I'd say that's, with all of the weapon skills, they're recharging on a short rest. If you come across a time where you've got a chance to hit more than 1 creature, probably just use it. Because the number of times where you're going to have more than 1 creature around the warrior is going to be not very high, going to be quite slim. Because during the battle, all these enemies are going to be jumping around, moving around. I'm going to be moving around. And you can do a short rest really easily. And this is going to come up with all of the weapon skills, really. Just use them when you can. So yeah, I really like this. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Because of the fact you can hit more than 1 enemy at once. It doesn't do any extra damage, though. It's just the normal damage. But yeah, quite impressed. Happy to use this. The slashing weapons, good start to the weapon skills. The next weapon I happen to have available is a club. So it's going to do 1d4 plus 0 bludgeoning damage. So actually, since this is on a druid, what I'm going to do first, if I can find the right spell, cast Shillelagh. So I've actually got a better chance to hit and do some damage. And it still has the same weapon skill. So let's hope that this works. So it did 11 bludgeoning damage. Did 1d8 plus 4 plus 0. And that was it. Not that impressive, in all honesty. Here's the problem with Smash on characters with a low strength score, is that Smash adds an extra set of bonus damage from your modifier, your strength modifier. So on my druid, the strength of 10, it's 1d4 plus 0 plus 0. So Smash is actually pointless. For Smash, the higher your strength score is, the better it will be. So here I've equipped Lazel with a Great Club. So it's going to be 1d8 plus 4 plus 4. So it's a guaranteed 9 damage, like an extra 4 damage. So Smash is going to be much better with characters with a high strength score, and it's going to get worse and worse with characters with a low strength score. So let's see this in action. Hopefully this hits. There we are. Right, critical hit, still didn't kill him. That's sad. Right, what happened there? On 2d8 it managed to roll 6, but yeah, 14 damage in total. So Smash is, it's a bit meh, it's just an extra bit of damage. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's not detrimental, but I'm not going to really look forward to using it in all honesty. There will be some situations where an enemy's on a number of hit points that's teetering on the edge of maybe they'll die, maybe they won't. This can maybe guarantee you that they die. But in all honesty, compared to the other weapon abilities, this isn't that great. So it's Lae'zel's turn again actually, and I've just equipped her with a short sword to show you the slash weapon skill. So we can see before I try and use it, there's 1d6 plus 4 piercing damage, that's from the short sword and the plus 4 strength modifier, and then extra 1d4 piercing. If we read the description, slash at a creature, it takes 1d6 plus 4 piercing damage, that's just the normal weapon attack damage, and starts bleeding, taking an additional 1d4 piercing damage each turn. And we can see the timer on that looks like -1, so this could be quite good. Thankfully it's hit. Let's just examine them, just to see, right, yeah, bleeding, 1 turn remaining. And let's just have a look at this. I happen to roll 1d4, which is quite good, actually. Quite happy with that. Can't get any better than that. However, it's only going to do an extra additional 1d4 damage. This is quite similar to Smash in its current form. It's okay. It's an extra option. You'll want to be using this on an enemy that you're focusing on, or is maybe nearly dead, you want to get rid of them. You're going to do a maximum of an extra, what, 2d4 piercing damage, which is about on par with Smash, with the potential to be higher, but also the potential to be lower. You know what? I think it's slightly better than Smash, but not a whole lot better. I'll probably give it about 5.5 out of 10. A little bit better than Smash. It is, on average, going to do higher damage. However, I would also say that the weapons that do piercing damage have a lower maximum total damage, because there are no, well, I might be wrong here, but I don't think there are any two-handed weapons with piercing. And if you've got two-handed weapons, they tend to do more damage, so 1d10 or 1d12. Those are normally bludgeoning or slashing weapons. I'll show you the next turn for good old Claw, show how much damage is done, and examine him again. So there, Claw took 3 piercing damage for bleed, and then lost condition bleeding. Examine him. He's gone. So bleeding only lasts for... Effectively, it applies the damage twice. Once on the turn that you use it, and once... And it was actually the end of Claw's turn there, not even at the beginning. So yeah. I think I'm justified to give it 5.5 out of 10. Tiny bit better than Smash, but not much better to be honest. I'd rather have all the damage done at once, in all honesty, rather than do more damage, but hey. Beggars can't be choosers. Try and show you Topple next. So this is using a staff. I've got a druid here, and I've used Shillelagh, so I've got a much higher chance to hit. Now Topple doesn't do any damage. Extra damage. But swipe at a creature to knock it prone. Do notice that it gets a dexterity saving throw though. This is a bit disappointing, right? So normally it's a 96% chance to hit. Click on Topple, it goes down to 40%. I'm not so happy with that. So, there we are. The DC is 10. That's the passing throw that the enemy needs. They rolled a 12, they got a +1 because of their dexterity score. So not only did this not do any damage, they passed a saving throw, and nothing's happened, and I can't use it again. If you've got a character who's got a higher strength score, I'm sure that the chance of this to hit will be higher. I'll show you this with Lae'zel actually later, soon. But currently I'm not going to rate this very highly. We'll see what happens with Lae'zel. I have equipped Lae'zel here with a staff. It's a ritual staff, one of the goblins' staffs. Going to choose the action for Topple. We'll notice that the percentage chance is 40%. I made a small mistake earlier. The reason this is 40% isn't because of the strength of the user, it's because of the dexterity score of the enemy, the target. Which makes this even worse, because there's no way to boost the chance for this to hit. And as we go through the game, dexterity scores are not going to get much better or worse. And the fact that Lae'zel's got a higher strength and even higher dexterity hasn't made the passing throw any more difficult, which is really bad. I'm going to give this... I'm struggling between 3 or 4 out of 10 for Topple, because the chances of it working are very low, and all it does is knock them prone, and you've already used your action. I'd much rather any of my characters, rather than use Topple, to more just do damage, do something else. Just using an action to have a 40% chance of knocking someone prone is just awful, really. I would much rather, if you watch one of the other videos, pick this goblin up and throw him. Get him out of the way. Make it do something, use up its movement, might not be able to hit me, do some damage, maybe even hit another goblin if I'm lucky and do some damage to 2 of them. So Topple, the way it currently stands, is actually awful. There's so many better options with things to do on your turn than have a 40 or 35 or 45% chance to knock a creature prone when they'll get up with the next turn. So it even depends on the turn order as well. So what we're going to give this, I don't know, 3.5 out of 10. Couldn't decide between 3 and 4. Put it in the middle. There we are. Don't use Topple. You know, the great thing about combat at the moment is during each turn, I'm doing the same fight for all of these weapon skills, is you can go into your inventory and just switch your weapons around. So what I've done is now equipped a spear. I didn't use Topple in the end. It's a complete waste. I'm going to set up a slightly artificial situation. I wouldn't actually use Rush, which is the next weapon skill here. Oops, no, didn't want to do that. So I'm going to do... Thankfully, Lae'zel's got high strength. At level 4, I gave it 18 strength. So +1 strength and +1 dexterity. Just going to make a jump over here for a bit, just so I can show you what this is going to do. So charge forward and attack all enemies and objects in the way, dealing 1d8 + 5 piercing damage. So the range is 30 feet, which can... It doesn't look like we can use up any movement at the same time. This will tell us if the target's too far or the target is blocked. Now, so let's get a bit closer. So first of all, it's got a range of 30 feet. It's a melee weapon with range. This is amazing. Now, unfortunately, it is saying... So you'll be really careful with how you use this, because if I try to go somewhere on the right, this barricade highlights in yellow and it says target is blocked, so we can't actually use it. But it says target is too far, so if I get a bit closer, so not only... here we are, right. Target is blocked. So look at that, right? I think I can hit 3 enemies. Let's try it. No, I just happened to hit the splinter structure and cause damage and make someone, this goblin, fall over. But you can see how effective that was. Let's have a look at the damage. So Lae'zel used... Let's have a look at this. Missed Sentinel Olak. Alright, so there's still on 1 hit point. So it's not a, it's not a certainty to hit. But it's a normal weapon attack to hit. Attack roll 13 +1. That +1 is because the spear is a +1 spear. +2 from proficiency, +4 from strength. So it's your normal roll to hit. And does... This was 9 piercing damage, which is just the normal amount of damage. 1d8 +1 because it's a +1 weapon, and +4 from the strength of 18 equals 9. And you can hit multiple people. I happened to hit, like I said, this structure. Which is amazing, right? But this is really good. Because I've still got... Okay, I can't really use it here, but I've still got some movement left. I could move if I wanted to. And obviously it does use your action, so you can't attack again. This is really strong. As long as your enemies are lined up. Well, you don't need your enemies to be lined up. It's more effective when your enemies are lined up. But I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, because this allows you not only to do damage to multiple people, it also allows you to charge around the battlefield. So with Lae'zel here, I jumped, and then used Rush, and I still got some movement left, maybe. So Rush here is really useful. even if you don't like using spears, if you've got a spear, you can equip it on your, well, whoever you want to use. And if you're happy with them using the action to rush, then you can get 30 feet from your attack, some movement from your jump, and some normal movement. Plus some damage to at least, hopefully, one creature, if not more. So yeah, definitely a 9 out of 10 for this. This is one of the best weapon skills, I would say, but unfortunately it's only for the spear. You have to be using a spear, there's no other weapon that has rush. Last up, we have the ranged weapon skill. It doesn't matter whether you're using a crossbow, any type of crossbow, light or heavy, or short bow or long bow. They all have the same skill called pin down. Does the normal amount of damage that your weapon would normally do. Make a ranged weapon attack that deals, well, in this case, 1d6 plus 3 piercing damage and reduces the target movement speed by 10 feet. As long as it hits, this effect will work. So we'll try and pick an enemy that has the best chance to hit. So 45, 75%, not bad. Though, I wouldn't normally use pin down on this enemy because it's right next to one of my party members. So maybe I'll try it on Warrior Puce. It works, pin down, perfect. I have to say, while recording, every single time I've tried a weapon attack, it's worked. Right, pin down. For 2 turns, movement speed is reduced by 10 feet. This is okay. I'm a bit disappointed by the fact it's only 10 feet, because just about every enemy, let's pick a different one, has a base speed of 40 feet, which feels a bit like cheating. I guess Malarian have given the AI, the AI more speed to kind of make up for the fact that they won't be able to position themselves quite so well as the human players. So by using pin down on an enemy, you're actually making them more on par with what you're like, most of your characters are like. Obviously, dwarves and halflings have a speed of 25 feet, and wood elves are 35 feet. But just about every enemy has, at least 40 feet. Look at that. Wargs, 53 feet. So the fact this is the reduction in speed for pin down is 10 feet, it's just, a little bit disappointing. It's still useful, especially if an enemy is chasing one of your party members down, or there's a particularly strong enemy that you don't want getting close to you, and especially if they don't have a teleport. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It's got its uses, but unfortunately the debuff isn't very high. It doesn't do any extra damage. If you can stack this on top of an enemy being prone, perhaps, because that often takes up extra movement speed to get up from, then this is going to be really useful. But if they're not prone, or you don't knock them prone while they've got this debuff, it's okay, but it's a bit, You know, I mean, there's no harm in using it. Not like Topple, which is really bad. So yeah, you can use it. You've got to pick your enemy target well. You might not always have a good chance to use this, whereas I feel like with Cleave and Rush, you're going to find good opportunities to use them. And Smash and Slash, you'll probably find uses for them as well. For pin down, you're not always going to find a use. Depends how well you can set yourself up on the battlefield and what the situation's like. Alright, time for some final thoughts on these weapon skills. First of all, the only one that you should really actively try and avoid is Topple. As I said earlier, these are ones for short rest. There's no harm in using them, for the most part. But one thing I do want to point out is that you can switch between weapon types during the battle. So if you've got a character such as Lae'zel, whose primary and almost the only way of dealing damage is with weapon attacks, then it's good to give them a variety of weapons. So during the battle, you can use like Cleave, the battle axe, or greatsword, obviously the greatsword. Then maybe later on switch to a spear if you need Lae'zel or your warrior or whoever, your fighter, whoever, to get around the battlefield. So don't forget that. It's free to switch weapons. I can do it as many times as I want within a turn. Alright. I can see here Slash is grayed out because I've already used a weapon with Slash. I've already used, well, it's the same spear, but I've already used Rush. But I haven't used a weapon with Slash in this current battle. So I can, not Slash, Cleave in this current battle. So I can switch to the greatsword and then hit. Ooh, probably only going to hit 2 of them. I don't think I can reposition myself to hit 3 of them. Ooh, he's on 1 hit point. Ooh, this could be quite good. Oh, nice. Look at that. 2 with 1 blow. I would also say that these weapon skills are better generally on characters who are better in melee, because you're going to be more likely to hit with them. So I said melee, I meant characters who are good with using weapons in general. So normally we'll be fighters, because if you're more likely to hit, then you're not going to waste this. That's the downside. So any attack, right, you can try and hit, but you're not certain to hit. But with Lae'zel here, for example, putting her strength up to 18, she's getting this +6 to hit with, or at least all melee weapons. I also upped her dexterity to 14, so she's got a +4 to hit with ranged attacks, which is still alright. And things like Smash doubles the damage from the strength modifier, so you're definitely going to get more mileage on characters that are built for melee combat. But even so, for some of them, such as Cleave, it's just worth taking a shot with it, because it's just another attack, but you've got a chance to hit two creatures. That's it. If you've managed to make it through to this part of the video, please do consider subscribing, leaving a like, and let me know if you think I'm wrong in the comments. Things I've missed out, I'm always missing out information, a little bit of information in these videos, and it's really nice to hear from you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.